Good morning. This is Dave Lewis with FitFam Personal Training, providing a presentation for you about chronic pain and postural correction that helps eliminate that pain. My job is a personal trainer and a corrective exercise specialist for those that are 50 and up. I'll help anybody, but I specialize in the older adults. My youngest client is in the late 40s. My oldest client is 99 years old. So that's a little bit about what I get to do day to day and helping older adults be able to thrive in their homes and fulfill active, mature years. So without any further ado, I'll get us started in our presentation this morning. Here's a little photo of our family. We have 4 lovely children, and 2 of them are littles and 2 of them are bigs. We have a 12 and 10, and then we have a 3 and a 9-month-old. So very blessed by God to have these children, and happy to show you a little photo of them here. Just a little background on our story. You might be wondering why I, a 42-year-old, am talking to you about pain. You say, what do you know? Well, you may see in that photo there of me and the side view, I have a brace on my back. I just 6 weeks ago, no, actually we're at 8 weeks, I had a spine surgery. And I've been dealing with chronic low back pain for many, many years. And by God's grace, 9 years of exercise, I've been able to prevent and kind of withhold some spine surgery that I was due to have. So I'm thankful for that. And my wife has also had surgery as well on her spine as well. So we've been doing this business for 5 years, and this was a quest, a redirection for us. We wanted to get some answers to why we had so much pain. And so this is a career change. You're looking at somebody that has a master's and an undergrad and something totally unrelated to exercise. And this is something we had to pursue to get answers. And now we get to use those answers we've learned for ourselves to help other people. So our business has been birthed out of our own chronic pain. Well, this picture here may give you a few sad reminders of some of the pain you may have. You may be dealing with shin splints. You may have patellofemoral syndrome and pain. That's just meaning knee pain. You may be dealing with low back pain and sciatica. You may be dealing with some hip pain that just won't go away, or maybe some foot and ankle pain due to plantar fasciitis or something like that. All of these pain issues often are because of a muscular imbalance. And that's good news because there's something you can do about that. You don't have to always go to pills for that. Sometimes you do. You don't always have to go to surgery. Sometimes you do. I had to. But there's a lot you can do today to help that. And that's what we're going to talk about today. If you take a look at the picture of this skeleton, this is the kinetic chain. And if you start at the ankles, you see the purple color there? Our ankles are designed to have as much mobility. So if this is my foot, if I step, every time I step, my toes need to raise up as high as they can and extend down. And the more range of motion you have in that foot, the less likely you are to have a fall. The knees, they're designed for stability. They want to be protected. The knee is basically just a hinge. It goes where the ankles and the hips tell it to. It's a hinge. And it's designed for stability. Your hips are designed for as much mobility as possible so that when you're walking, you see these hips, you want to have a nice big walking gait. We don't want to have you doing this small step stuff. We want to have big walking gait. Your low back, next one up there, is designed for stability. Have you noticed a pattern so far? We started with ankles, those are mobility. Next one is for stability, and then in the knees, and then mobility in the hips, stability in the low back. I'm going to ask you now, what do you think the next joint is designed for? Stability or mobility of the upper back? Answer is mobility. You want to be able to reach to the top shelf and have as much mobility as possible. You want to be able to turn this way and that way when your grandkids are saying, look, Grammy, look, Grandpa, And you want to be able to turn and see them and not have to do this kind of turn. We want to have mobility there. Your neck, we need to protect that. That's a stability joint. So what does this have to do with your pain? Well, often the knees, the low back, and the neck are the key culprits of pain. And the reason for that is often because we are lacking proper mobility in the ankles and the hips and the thoracic joints. So if I can help you with one thing is to help you get some more mobility in your upper back and your hips and then your ankles so that those stable joints can relax. So that's what we're going to talk more about today with chronic pain solutions through corrective exercise. So if you take a look at this lady, I'll give you a few seconds to look at her posture. How's she looking to you? Looks like she's leaning a little bit, right? You see she's bearing all her weight on that right foot. And what's that doing to her knee? Her knee, in fact, both of her knees are out of alignment. They're kind of crooked, they're leaning. And that's putting a lot of tension on those joints. You look at her hips. One hip is hiked up a little higher than the other. And then what's that do to her torso and her shoulders? See, it compensates and it's imbalanced. And then her head is out of balance. A lot of people, maybe some of you right now, as you're listening to this presentation, maybe you're leaning on an elbow. Maybe you're doing that. Oh, I caught you. So that's some of the things that we can be aware of and correct. So you take a look at this gentleman here. We'll start at his feet. You see the little red arrow? If you follow the numbers on the left-hand side of the screen, it shows that your foot rolls in. Fancy word for that is overpronation. The arch that your foot's supposed to have collapses like a broken bridge, rolls in. Then your tibia, the lower leg bone, it goes where you tell it to go. So if your foot rolls in, then your tibia rolls in, causing the knees to roll in. Look down at your own knees if you're standing right now. Maybe you're in your slippers and you're watching this from home, and maybe they're rolled in a little bit. That's probably not helping your knees too much right now. Then you look at the leg bone there, the big femur bone. You see how that rolls in? If that rolls in, it causes the hip bone, kind of like this, to shift forwards. There's your hip bones, the greater trochanter as it inserts into the hip. If that tilts forward, that makes your hips tilt forward also, and that makes you look a little bit like this. If you ever feel like your behind is in the behind, it's often because of a muscular imbalance. That's called an anterior pelvic tilt. That's something we need to fix and we need to correct to help your balance, to help your pain issues that you're fighting right now. And then you look at the upper body, just like the photo of the young lady. As the hips drop down, the shoulders also compensate, go out of balance as well, and that affects the head too. So we've got feet rolling in, we've got knees rolling in, femur rolling in, hips rotated forward. We've got shoulders that end up having to round forward as well. And then your neck also pushes forward. All of these things happen in some ripple effects, sometimes just starting with the feet. So we need to correct your imbalances to help reduce your pain and help you be less likely to have a fall. Perhaps today you're saying, yes, I am one of those people that has low back pain. Help me out here. If you've got low back pain, take a look at this photo I had made. First, we want to see where your imbalances are. Where are you weak? Your hips, you see this lady, if you look at this young lady here, her shirt, it looks like a ski slope. See how that shirt is laying on her pants? It's a downward slope. That's not good. You're supposed to have a slight slope of the hip, but not that steep where you can go skiing down it. She's tilted forward, pushes her bottom back like that. And if you think of your hips as a bucket, the bucket is tipped forward and the water is all spilling outward, so out forward. So we want to help her strengthen two muscles that are out of balance. One is, in the blue, you'll see, abdominals are weak. So I engage my abs. I just tighten a little string of the abs there, pulls them back up. I squeeze my glutes, my bottom muscles, and it pushes my hips forward. See how that happens? Squeeze the abs and squeeze the glutes. Pulls your hips underneath your shoulders where they're supposed to be in a proper alignment. So if you have an anterior pelvic tilt that's causing your back pain, those are some things that we can work on. We want to strengthen where you're weak, those imbalances, but we also want to release those tight low back muscles that are pulling the bucket the wrong direction. And we want to release the front of your hips. The longer you sit, I know you might like to play cards or sit with friends, but the longer you sit, the more your leg is up this direction in a seated position, the tighter these muscles get, and the more when you stand up out of that chair, that bottom kind of stays behind you because those muscles are used to keeping you tight in that seated position, and you're almost walking in a seated position. So we need to correct that. I've had people in their 80s start corrective exercise that were able to bring some correction and improve their balance, also thus preventing falls. So perhaps you're saying, oh, when I look at myself in the mirror, I see these shoulders that are rounded. I see a back that's really rounded. I feel like I look older than I really am. And you want to fix that. The arms are forward, shoulders forward. You're looking in the mirror at the tops of your shoulders pointing at you like this. If your shoulders are rounding forward, that is caused by tight muscles in the chest and the shoulder. We read a lot, we wash dishes here, we type on computers, we look at these phones all the time. We do so much right here. If we don't correct that and release these muscles in the front, it's going to just keep pulling forward. So we want to release in the front, and we want to also strengthen the muscles of the upper back to keep pulling you back. You can see this gentleman in the photo shows that the muscles in the front are in a locked position. It's like cooked spaghetti that's all curled up. And we want to straighten the spaghetti so it looks like the spaghetti in the box before it's cooked. Pre-cooked spaghetti, nice, straight, long muscle fibers. That's, it's called the proper length tension relationship. And that's going to really help you be able to move the way you were made to move. This image illustrates that perfectly. Somebody who is rounded like this, tight chest muscles, weak upper back muscles, goes to lift something up into the top cabinet. Oh, ow, my shoulder. Your shoulder's not going to let you go any higher because of your tight muscles here that are restricting movement. So if you want to reach that top of the cabinet, you gotta spend time working on rebalancing the imbalanced muscles. I don't want you to be that person in the red there. I want you to have that green posture. So you look at this. You see those lines of the muscle fibers. My goal for you as a corrective exercise specialist in the biomechanics method is to help realign your muscles to the proper length tension relationship. So my favorite illustration is using this fancy tool of a rubber band. So it's kind of like a pulley. If you can see this little band here, as it pulls forward this way, see, it's working properly. I'm pulling it and it's releasing on this side. Your muscles are doing this all day long in every different direction that you move. But if it's tight and I clamp down on it, it's not moving because it's tight. So you have like a pulley system going on. Every imbalance. So if my pulley on the front here is pulling me forward, then this side of the pulley is overstretched and it's not moving right. So we got to release this front pulley so that there's a proper balance and we can get that good flow of the pulley system. So a couple tips. You saw this gentleman at the beginning. As we are wrapping up in the last 5 minutes here, here's some simple tips on correcting the imbalances that cause pain. So just follow on closely. I'm going to give you a couple quick tips. It's going to go quick, but it's pretty simple. I can't go in depth in the time we're given, but I can give you some simple solutions. So here in my studio, most popular tool I have is a lacrosse ball. You can use a tennis ball, you can use a golf ball, We use these on the bottom of our feet, just in a seated position. You can roll the bottom of the feet to release those tight fascia on the bottom of the feet, from the heel all the way to the toes, back and forth on the ball of the feet. We do that to release that. We use this especially on the low back. My personal favorite is I'll take this and I'll take this and I will put this simply right on the outside of the spine. Never ever put these on the spine. You want to put it on the outside of the spine, and you can just lean onto a wall like so, and slight bend in the knees, and just do some self-massage with a ball or a tennis ball. I recommend starting with a tennis ball. It's a little more forgiving. This thing's pretty hard, as you can tell, pretty tough. But that's going to release those tight muscles. We can use these on tight glute muscles to bring some better alignment as well. So there's some ways to correct feet, some back pain to release that. You can even take something similar to that is in a cup. It's like a ball with a little cup. You can use this on the upper body. See this little ball? It's like a lacrosse ball with its own little holder. And you can use that to release the front side of the chest that's tight. Oh, there's a knot right there. And you can just press on it and release it. These are all safe exercises in these big open muscles to release that. So the first step in corrective exercise is to release the restricted tight muscles. Then we begin to stretch them, and then we begin to strengthen so you have proper alignment. So those are just a couple quick, simple solutions. Another favorite tool that my clients use, and these are all things I have in my studio. They're all in the $20 or less range. You see this? It's like a little glove. Put it on here like that. Wonderful to have in the car. Again, to release the front of the shoulder, release the chest muscles. I'll show you this way. I can reach around to my low back to work on those tight muscles. The neck can work on releasing these tight muscles in here with this tool. So there's some really simple tools. It's kind of like a portable massage therapist that can help you release those tight muscles. So for more detailed information, obviously I would need to evaluate you and give you some exercise sheets and show you more on how to do that, but I hope that gives you a little intro on how to do that. This little document I give to every new client. It gives you a little overview on how to sit properly, how to stand properly, how to walk properly. In fact, your first homework assignment, if I meet with you at my studio, is I need 3 photos: a seated picture in your favorite easy chair, a desk photo, side view, and then a laying down photo of how your sleep position looks like. I always say 50 minutes with me is no good if all week long you undo it and your posture position at home. So this is a handy guide to help you remember how to stand, sit, and lay properly to keep those muscles in the right balance. So a couple next steps for you as we wrap up here. First, you can email me if you'd like a 25-minute posture assessment at my studio. Absolutely free. Happy to help you. Anyone who participated in this webinar and watched it all the way to the end, it's on me. You're welcome to come over for 25 minutes. You'll see my posture zone right here. There's a little string right here. I always tell people the string does not tell a lie. You stand here, we'll get a photo of your posture, all 4 sides, and then we can see what's out of balance. And I can give you some suggestions, whether it's related to your feet and ankles, knees, hips, low back, upper back, or your neck. Or if you like a little more in depth, we can do a full assessment at half off rate. Our full rate is $70 for the 50-minute session. So I'll be happy to do a half off for any participant in this webinar. Below you see my contact information and my number, and I'd be happy to help you. So thank you for taking time to listen to chronic pain and some postural correction solutions. I'd be delighted to help you and see and share some of the ways that I've been able to get freedom from pain through exercise. There is hope for you, and it's never, ever too late. Thanks again for participating today, And I hope to hear from you, and I hope I can help you because, boy, it feels good to not be ruled by pain anymore. Thank you. God bless, and have a great day.